Zoo list with Wild Mikado, and Kyle's deck is a step further down the zoo line. Very little in the way of spells to this deck. Only 4 copies of Atarka's Command, 4 Lightning Bolts, a Mutagenic Growth, and 2 Rankers. And this is a deck that has, excuse me, what is the threat that I'm looking for? Experiment 1, alongside a lot of large creatures to quickly pump up Experiment 1.
Let's see who won the die roll. It's going to be very telling. Oh, Matthew did. Hello, Soul's Attendant. You're up.
Welcome to hell, Kyle.
Well, he's going to take a look.
No, not a good sign.
I think you like what you see there, Kyle.
When your opponent plays one of those, it usually means there's more of that on the way.
Hey, Kurt Ape here from Kyle is going to bring him down to 18. It is a 2-3. Now, Soul Attendant, whenever another creature enters the battlefield, that's you or them, you gain a life. Now, he's got to remember his triggers for this. Do not forget 21. Let's make it 20 now for Matthew Farney. See what land he wants to go get.
I'm already getting flashbacks.
You've had
from
this,
Kyle's perspective, yes.
You've had this happen to you.
This is horrible.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately, Jeskai Soul Sisters, you play with a lot of underpower cards, and sometimes some precise removal can pick apart what's going on. So it's not altogether hopeless. But if Farney's able to set up shop here uncontested, I mean, there's not a whole lot that Kyle's deck full of 2/2s and 3/3s can really do about this.
And a Johnny Pride Mate, and then a life gain trigger, which means another trigger, which means Magic Online just crashed. That's 3 triggers.
That's 3 triggers.
That's 3 triggers.
Soul Attendant v Vexing Devil. Not. It's just not great for the Vexing Devil side of it.
Lightning Bolt is timely. Here comes the Kurt Ape. Kyle, have a follow-up play? Oh, no, that's it. Oh, boy. Now, a lot of people are wondering what's the Jeskai portion of this deck. Where's the blue coming from? Not telling. Not telling unless it shows up.
Yep.
Not telling.
Or if the match is over, then we'll reveal.
Correct. Just know that it is an ode to one Gregory Hatch.
Yep. Hope you're watching, buddy.
That's it. If it shows up, you'll be able to figure out what it is and why it's an ode to Greg Hatch, one of our favorite deck tech people of all time. There's a lot of reasons I wish we headed back to the West Coast, and hopefully we do next year. But Greg Hatch, deck techs, that's right near the top of the list. As here's a cavern. It is on humans.
When your opponent's counting like this on the 3rd turn while he saw that 1 land, not a good sign.
No, not at all. Here's a Soul's Attendant, and now here's another Johnny Pride Mate. Yeah, so a couple triggers here. Matthew back up to 20. Oh, Soul's Attendant feeling frisky into the red zone. Water's warm. Might as well dive in.
If I was at home, I could simply throw my shoe through the monitor. But since I'm here, you know.
Oh, Rancor strategy.
Oh, that's for a turn. Okay.
I can get behind that. Kyle fighting back with a 4-3 trampling Kurt Ape.
I think that's going to be Kyle's last best punch of the game.
Farney will draw a Soul Warden. A few triggers, no more. I respect a hasty concession.
I don't even know if I would have resolved the Ranker that game.
As Kyle Boggemes loses game 1 to Matthew Farney. Jeskai Soul Sisters very quickly up a game here over Green-Red Aggro. Kyle's going to have a little more fight in him. We'll take a look at the sideboards, I suppose, see if Kyle's brought the goods here for this matchup.
Well, he does have one card that can really swing this matchup around in an Electrickery.
I like Fork Bolt, too.
Fork Bolt's great, and Electrickery will be a one-sided Wrath of God a good percentage of the time. The Soul Sisters deck floods the board with one-toughness creatures. That's a big help here. I don't know if he's going to want to bring in Eidolon of the Great Revel. You can take the position of, I just need to get the game over with fast and be as aggressive as possible. But if the game slows down a little bit and you have to be casting removal spells, they gain so much life along the way that you sometimes get trapped under your own Eidolon. But the 2 copies of Forkbolt and the Electrickery are big upgrades here.
On the other side of things here for Farney, you got 3 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Return to the Ranks, 2 Wear Tear, 2 Electrickery, 2 Stony Silence, a Rest in Peace, a Pay No Heed, another Auriok Champion because why not, and then a Thalia's Lieutenant.
Additional copy of Auriok's Champion, great in this matchup. I think the Thalia's Lieutenant is good as well, and I would bring in the 1 copy of Pay No Heed.
Well, There are the options here for both players. Kyle will be on the play, see if he can steal one here. But we are watching modern action here on the SCG Tour. Jeskai Soul Sisters from Matthew Farney, Green Red Aggro from Kyle Boggemes, and a place you can play either one of these decks. And if I had to choose one, I'd definitely choose the Jeskai Soul Sisters, would be Grand Prix Charlotte. Be a part of Modern Weekend. You can find out more about how to be a part of Modern Weekend right now.
On May 20th through the 22nd, make plans to be part of Modern Weekend and Magic the Gathering history when StarCityGames.com proudly presents Grand Prix Charlotte. Register for the Modern Format main event to compete for thousands of dollars in prizes and receive an exclusive playmat featuring Jace as he pores over the pages of Tomio's journal. Select the 3-day Infinite Challenge package to compete in all challenge events for one low price, while also walking away with the exclusive Jace playmat. Add a premium rewards package and take home a collectible pin, deck box, 80-count pack of sleeves, and playmat, all featuring the iconic Noble Hierarch. Play in select side events for even more chances to win additional Noble Hierarch pins, deck boxes, sleeves, and playmats all weekend long. And don't forget to come say hello to Grand Prix Charlotte's many special guests, including cosplayer Christine Sprinkle and an artist alley full of fan favorites, headlined by guest of honor Rob Alexander. Be part of Modern Weekend and Magic the Gathering history. Register for Grand Prix Charlotte today.
May 20th and the 22nd, Grand Prix Charlotte. We hope to see you guys there, and hopefully some of you are playing Jeskai Soul Sisters with Norrin the Wary, with Soul's Warden, Soul's Attendant, Champion of the Parish, Genesis Chamber. Should we tell him the blue card? Should we tell him?
I think they'll probably, we can give it to him now. We've given enough clues.
You think it's going to be sideboarded out?
I think it's likely to be boarded out in this matchup.
All right, we'll get that picture ready of the old blue card. Greg Hatch, we hope you're there watching somewhere. One that you know very well, Sky Hussar, ladies and gentlemen. The old Sky Hussar, a limited bomb.
Yes.
In Sky Hussar. 5 mana 4/3, excuse me. Flying, when Sky Hussar comes into play, untapped all creatures you control, but you're here to forecast this. You reveal it, you tap 2 untapped white creatures you control, because those Soul Warden effects, they're not attacking, so you might as well get a card.
And I think the reason that I don't like it in the matchup is I think casting is off the table. Game is going to be determined long before that could come into play.
Okay.
And if Kyle is not contesting your board, he can't win anyway. The only way he's beating you if he's killing all your creatures, and Sky Hussar's not good if Kyle's killing all your creatures.
All right.
So I would board it out.
All right. Well, I agree with you. I would probably board it out as well. Both these players are going to take a mulligan. Jeskai Soul Sister, so that's a real gamble, but I like it if you think you're going to get paired against certain decks.
Well, if you're expecting a field full of beatdown decks, you can do a lot worse than this.
Yes, you can. It is a real gamble, but I think it might be an appropriate gamble.
How's he going to be doing against Jerry Thompson's Stop Your Sword Wrath of God
It's
deck?
not good.
I don't think it's going to be good.
It's not good.
Play against Infinity, probably going to be in really good shape.
Yep.
The burn matchup, really solid. I know this.
If Matthew gets paired against Jerry, oh my goodness.
Can't be good.
No.
And Jerry's got gut shots in his board for good measure.
And, you know, Umbriel writes Elishnorn.
But I can appreciate taking the high-risk, high-reward strategies. Magic tournaments and the Invitational is among them, and having really top-heavy payouts. I'd rather roll the dice on a deck that, with the right matchups, can go 7-1 or 8-0 through portions, rather than try to play a more conservative, middle-of-the-road deck and try to bang out top 64s. $10,000, the Players' Championship, Pro Tour invite, face on a token. That's an incentive structure worth rolling some dice for.
Both players looking at those hands now. Looks like Farney's going to keep. He'll scry. Kyle doesn't look thrilled.
I wouldn't either.
No.
Because he kept 6 cards.
Yeah.
You know? Still a lot of cards.
Kyle going to start things off here with a stomping ground at a Kurt Ape. He's down to 18. Kick it over to Matthew. Let's see how Matthew starts things off here. Cavern of Souls, likely naming human. What's the first play of the day going to be? Soul Warden, kick it over. Another Kurt Ape to draw here. In for 2, that's the easy part. Temple Guard enters the battlefield untapped. Boggemes down to 16. The follow-up. A Burning Tree Emissary. Gain a life. Experiment Fun. Gain a life. Kurt Ape
That's a draw. That's a draw right there. That's we can work with this.
Patrick hoping Kyle can fight back here.
That's a draw right there.
That actually is an insane draw.
Yep, that's as good as it's gonna get.
Yep.
If it was Wild Nakano on one instead of Kurt Ape, that's basically the perfect draw.
Champion of the parish.
Oh God.
Gain a life. Is there a human
This
to
is
follow
not
up?
going to be enough.
Just another 1-1 is too much. Well, Farney will just pass the turn back. Maybe a Path to Exile at the ready. We'll see what Kyle does have. Kyle going to take a look at the champ. Gets counters when humans join. Let's see what this is. Burning Tree Emissary. Trigger. No evolve on Experiment 1.
Yep, needs to have the power or toughness be greater than the Experiment 1. Same size currently.
Yeah. Is there a follow-up?
I'm going to guess that there is currently a dispute over a missed trigger.
And now here's a Jesus.
Whoa.
Here's a Tarkus command.
That's a draw.
Now, it might be with the trigger on the stack. Like if he gets the mana first, but I think the Soul Warden trigger happens before Kyle gets the mana because of active player, non-active player.
I don't think it matters because deal 3 is better than cutting off the 1 point of life
very
anyway. That's not relevant here.
And here comes the beatdowns. Now this is a draw.
Kyle's got no cards in hand. This is about as good as it's going to get.
Yeah. he could peel pretty well. I think we're going to see a Path to Exile here from Matthew in just a moment off this Horizon Canopy.
Yeah, if he's got it, should definitely cast it.
Yep, there's Path. Experiment 1 down. Kyle gets to maybe search for a land. Basic check.
1 mountain, 1 forest.
All right. Mountain it is.
And I like the selection there. The Experiment 1 creature with the highest ceiling. Also, Farney has access to various pro-red creatures, so just keep Kyle's board as red saturated as possible.
I don't think Matthew has much interest in block right now just because none of the blocks are actually good.
Well, he has an incentive to keep Soul Warden in play because that's going to gain some life, and Champion of the Parish can outgrow the creatures that are currently on the battlefield. So I like a no block here. You know, take it on the chin. It's a lot of damage, but if he can fire back with some creatures next turn, if Kyle doesn't draw well, Kyle may not be able to attack.
Well, that's Kyle's whole turn. So we're going to Matthew Farney. This, oh yeah.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, Sky Hussar still in. On upkeep forecast. This is what dreams are made of. I am so happy right now.
This represents a pretty soft hand here from Farney because I think that he would really like to just keep Champion of the Parish back on defense if he could grow it large enough to check at least one creature.
He's got a mountain in hand. We know he's got a Sky Hussar. What did he draw, though? There's a Plains. Just pass. Oh, boy, just pass.
If he's forecasting, that means he's got very little going on.
Beatdowns. Farney down to 2. Windswept Teeth, pass the turn back. Yeah, his hand's really bad. Right, I see it now. It's a Perforos. That ain't it. I don't know what is it right now. He's thinking about sacrificing Horizon Canopy, and he will draw a card.
Open competitors, welcome to round 5. You have 50 minutes. You may begin.
He might forecast now, and he will. He gets another card, so he gets to draw 2 cards this turn. Path to Exile among those cards. There's a mountain. That's a lot of lands. 4 of them. That's what it'll show Kyle, and he'll concede the game. So Kyle Boggemes is going to win game number 2 here against Matthew Farney. Green-red aggro. Jeskai Soul Sisters getting ready here for game number 3, and that's the kind of draw Kyle's going to have.
Well, that's the upshot of playing a deck like Kyle's. You don't have as much removal, and you don't have as much reach. But when you are playing with cards like Experiment 1 and Burning Tree Emissary, the ceiling on your draw is so high.
Yep.
And now Farney didn't do very much that game, but Kyle's opening there had 8 points of power on the battlefield there by turn 2.
Yeah, his
something
draw
like
was
that.
absurd.
And there's not a whole lot of decks, even the beatdown decks of Modern very rarely put that much power on the battlefield that early. And that's the benefit of playing a deck like Kyle's.
Did you see Kyle?
Yeah, he's just I'm out of here.
Just wave the hand. I've got to take a moment. I'm out of here. Oh, man. I've known Kyle for like almost a decade. I love the kid.
Yep. Very, very humble person.
He really is.
Especially against his results, which have been excellent for about a decade now.
So these players will get ready here for game number 3. Now, we talked about Modern Weekend and Grand Prix Charlotte being hosted by Star City Games. We also are hosting a whole bunch of state and provincial championships. And we've got Standard on one day, Modern on the other, and you can learn more about those tournaments next weekend right now.
On April 23rd and 24th, don't miss the StarCityGames.com State and Provincial Championships. With Standard on Saturday and Modern on Sunday throughout the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico, there are plenty of chances to become a champion. Every player that registers receives an exclusive art print, top 8 competitors receive an exclusive playmat and pin, and each champion receives a championship playmat, medal, and an invitation to any of the next 3 StarCityGames.com invitationals. Each event will also include an oversized token door prize customized with their location. Visit go.starcitygames.com/states to learn how to become a champion today.
April 23rd. April 23rd and 24th.
I want to make this clear.
State and provincial championships.
I blame neither player. Both have left. Feature, yep.
Just no more. Just no more.
I like the confidence there from Farney. Yeah, no one's going to steal my deck. I just leave it here, you know?
Both players have just waved the white flag on this match.
In reality, they've stepped away from the table for a moment. They'll be back momentarily.
Yeah, it's just too much to bear.
But we did want to show the shot because they're doing what we're all thinking.
If I lose to you, I can't take it, and vice versa.
Exactly. The matchup is extremely good for Farney. A loss here would be frustrating. And for Kyle, I can imagine what it feels like because this happens to me once every 2 or 3 weeks during my modern adventures of Magic Online. But doesn't feel good.
I tell you what, Magic is truly great sometimes. All right, Farney's back. He's ready to gain a lot of life. That's for sure.
Fortunately for Kyle, he has not seen Auriok Champion show up yet. He doesn't even have Path to Exile on his sideboard. That card's just in play the whole game. The upshot is at least Kyle brings a lot of size to the table. He can just kind of keep attacking with his various 2/3s and 3/3s. But
well, he's got to have the draw that he had last game. Honestly,
yes. Yeah.
He doesn't really have much of a choice. He has to have some sort of absurd draw to be able to beat this deck, and hope that Farney doesn't have a good draw.
Right. If Farney just has 2 Auriok Champions, Kyle's hand's worth very little, and that draw is about as good as he's going to do. You know, it's a tough matchup.
Now, to Kyle's credit, you know, I think he's going to mulligan aggressively for draws like that. You know,
it's a tough matchup to mulligan too aggressively though, because Farney doesn't even need to have an exceptional draw to be able to kind of lock you out of the game. And if you're down resources, it can become very challenging to be able to attack profitably, and sometimes that happens very early in the game. He can't keep a slow hand, but I also don't think he can mulligan for Fork Bolt and Electrickery.
Not me either.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle of those two things.
Well, these players have now arrived. They're back, and we'll find out who's going to be the winner here in just a moment. All kidding aside, they're both 10-3. They're both still able to win this tournament, which is a big deal. So if you're just joining us, first of all, we appreciate having you. I hope you're enjoying the coverage at home. But what are these guys playing for? Well, first place is $10,000. So hello. You know, we're playing for real stuff here between these two players if they're able to make the elimination round. So we're talking $10,000. 50 SCG points, invite to one of our next invitationals, like the one in New Jersey that's happening in August, that I know you're happy to go back home.
Can't wait.
And cover that tournament. And also, whoever wins this tournament, again, they're playing for a lot of stuff. So the winner is walking out here with a huge bounty, an invite to the Players' Championship, an invite to the Pro Tour along with the flight. You get to play in Opens and Classics for free. You'll get a buy into every Open throughout Season 2. You get a personalized token. So invitationals, we've been doing them for a long time. This is the largest one that we've had as far as attendance is concerned, and the most on the line for first place.
It's a huge windfall, and it's nice to see the prize pool has developed from $10,000 to $10,000 and a bunch of other stuff that's, you know, close to $10,000 worth of value. It's a huge swing here.
If you're an invitational champion, it's a pretty big deal. And you know what? As much as I love you, Kyle, and I'm sure you'll go back and watch this, I like to see a little Soul Sisters in action. I want to see Norn the Wary and Genesis Chamber go crazy.
This is a tough tournament in large part because of the size. It's a very tough field, and 725 competitors showed up this weekend, roughly. I'm not even sure that every XM3 is going to make it. When we were looking at players to watch, Josh Cho was XM3 now with 3 rounds to go and was in 30-something place. It's going to be tough to crack the top 8, and these players at the minimum need to win out, and depending on the tiebreaker situation, even that might not be good enough. Just speaks to how hard making the top 8 is a tournament this competitive of this size.
Oh, it's no joke. It's going to be tough. But someone's going to come out of here on top as both these players take with their winning hands, and it could be one of these two. And Matthew Farney will be on the play this go-around. See if he can find an opening hand that he does like.
He looks pained by this one.
It looks like he's going to take a mulligan here. The deadly look afterward. Some people swear by the look at the top of the deck when you mulligan, some people don't. Which camp do you stand in?
I know there's a random card on top of the deck, so I don't bother to look.
I always look. I can't get enough. I just have to know.
Yes. I'm not going to find like $20 on the top.
Hey,
it's going to be one of the 53 cards left in my deck.
You don't know. You never
so
know.
No, I don't look.
Looks like Kyle's going to keep his opening hand.
I feel like looking poisons the well. Start making decisions you otherwise wouldn't because, well, I looked the last 2 times I should have kept this horrible hand. But that's not how math works, and I just died with a bad hand I should have mulliganed.
Matthew maybe with even more difficult decision now. Looking at 6 cards and going down to 5 in this matchup, I think spells doom. I think it's pretty tough. But down to 5 he's going to go.
The one card that he has in his deck that is worth potentially several cards out of the other side is Auriok Champion. If he gets enough time, Ranger of Eos can do a lot of work too. But if Kyle's got a draw that just involves a flood of power on the battlefield very early on, Farney may be hard equipped to stop that, especially if the threats are largely green and Auriok Champion isn't an effective blocker. But 5-card hands are usually not high hospitable to Norn the Wary. You need a lot of other cards to make Norn the Wary work most of the time.
Norn the Wary is not particularly good on its own, I would say, personally.
No, it's expert analysis.
One man's opinion.
You trying to come for my job?
You tried to leave.
Just dropping all the knowledge on the viewers?
You tried to leave. Time to scry. Leaving it on top, Will Farney. He's got 5 cards. Let's see if it can work out for him. A Plains. That's a Soul Warden. Over to Boggemes. Boggemes will sacrifice a Windswept Heath. It's a Curd Ape. Likely off a Stomping Ground. And there it is. Kyle down to 17. Farney at 21. Windswept Heath. That can let Farney search up the old Sacred Foundry if you'd like. We'll see what his play is going to be, though. It's just going to be a basic Plains. Interesting. Maybe he's already got a red source in his hand. Auriok Champion. And you talked about the champ quite a bit.
Yeah, this is not a card that Kyle can, I believe, remove from the battlefield at all.
This is the kind of card that can undo a mulligan, as you said.
Yep.
Ah, take that.
Trample.
Rancor, ever heard of it? You get to get a little block in there, but some trample damage will take place. Kyle got a follow-up.
Oh, I hope it's a green fetch land, because he has 1 Dryad Arbor in the deck.
Look at you.
So if he can bait Farney into attacking with the Auriok Champion on a board that has nothing.
I see what you're up to. It's just an Arid Mesa. Soul Warden coming in.
Not blocking with it.
Nope.
So
Now Farney's got at least 2 lands in hand, maybe 3, as there's a Sacred Foundry. Kyle's going to sacrifice his Arid Mesa. Rancor demonstrating its relevance right now.
trample good against protection from colors since they changed the rule back in the day. Ball Lightning and Repentant Blacksmith. Now it just works. Back in the day, Pro Color used to suck up every point of trample damage.
Yeah, it's not okay.
Repentant Blacksmith, Ball Lightning being a classic example.
And soak up all the damage like Sebastian Shaw. Just take it all in.
I don't know the reference.
You know who Sebastian Shaw is?
No?
X-Men villain. He just takes beats and uses it to his advantage. Like one of my favorite villains of all time. You got to watch X-Men a little bit more, man. First Class, great movie. Kevin Bacon played Sebastian Shaw.
X-Men movies I've completely blacklisted.
They're mostly bad, but X-Men First Class, very good.
I know that, but you gotta draw lines in the sand and stick by them.
There's a Dryad Arbor. No trickery with that.
Just trying to see if that's a Soul Warden activation.
Yeah. Just want to know. Yep. Kyle's going to take a look here at Auriok Champion. Not going to like what he sees.
Dryad Arbor is proof that a simple concept can be extremely complicated.
This is true.
It's a land creature. Okay. That sounds simple enough. Doesn't have any powers, right? It's a 1/1? Okay, I got it. Nope.
Yeah. Can I tap it for mana like a land? Not yet.
Most complicated card in Modern, probably.
Yeah. Here's a Soul's Attendant. Farney will gain a little bit more life, play an Arid Mesa. Pass the turn back.
So I believe Farney down to 1 card in hand, which is a land. So the big draw steps for Farney in this spot. Sky Hussar, Ranger Revivos. I would qualify a second copy of Auriok Champion as well.
Agreed. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with Kyle's hand.
Well, it looked a little land heavy on the open, but his start has not been that explosive. It's not clear if it's worth it for him to even cast red creatures right now if it's not appreciably changing Farney's blocks.
Fork Bolt's pretty good.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Soul's Attendant and Soul Warden down. See what comes next here for Boggemes.
So any red creature he adds to the battlefield from the previous turns is worth 2 life from Farney's triggers. And if he's not going wide enough where the Auriok Champion is not blocking all of the red creatures, there's not that much of a point of playing it just yet.
Your Dryad Arbor point has been made, by the way. That's the 5th time it's been read. It's just
There's
unclear.
barely any text on it.
Yeah.
Why do you have to keep reading it? Because that concept's baffling.
In Arid Mesa, now in Experiment 1, Farney will gain a life. And now he'll sacrifice his Arid Mesa.
Future Sight is chock full of seemingly interesting,
It's your-
seemingly simple, but not actually simple at all designs.
It's your favorite set.
Yeah.
I know that.
We're going to make an enchantment creature. What does that mean? I don't know. What rarity do you think that should be at? Common.
You know, just have it in a lot of decks.
Yeah, we wanted that showing up a lot.
Hallowed Fountain, the card search for here. All right, maybe we're thinking hard cast Sky Hussar. Oh, yeah.
How about a land with Morph?
The old Zoetic Cavern?
What is that all about? I don't know. Pretty simple, right? It's just 2 simple things slapped together. Nope, not simple at all.
Path to Exile, the draw. You see Kyle's going to sacrifice the Arid Mesa to get himself a stomping ground. Not every idea works.
Double striking creature with negative power.
I like that you always go back to the Rumbler.
Char Rumbler?
You always find a way to go back to the Char Rumbler. You're not even here as much anymore in the booth.
Yeah.
But when you are in the booth now, you still find a way to work Char Rumbler into the broadcast.
What an enchantment, and then enchant sorceries that are in your graveyard.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sounds simple enough.
Here's a Reckless Bushwhacker with Surge as a Wild Nakata was played before. There's old Rumblesworth.
What do you mean negative power?
None of the creatures Kyle has right now have negative power. That's for sure.
No. Can't attack with Bushwhacker because that just gets checked by the Auriok Champion.
happy to attack with everything else.
Yeah, if Farney wants to trade this off with the Dryad Arbor, Boggemes is fine. If he wants to absorb 1 point for the Curd Ape, also fine.
See how Farney doesn't want to block now. You said there's a card that enchants sorceries.
Spellweaver Volute or something.
Ah, the Volute.
Very simple concept. See, what it does is...
I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, just enchant a card in the graveyard.
You know, my favorite part about this card is it's very clear where the casting cost is.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to find.
Yeah, that's really good. Bridge from below, triple black to cast. What's it do when it's in play? Nothing.
Yeah.
only knows something in the graveyard.
A Path to Exile. Going to take care of the Curd Ape. Ranker going to go back to Kyle's grip. He'll get the search for a land. He should have one more basic left in the deck.
Ranker doing a lot of work for Boggemes in this matchup. When you're dealing with a bunch of one-toughness creatures that have protection from color or somehow make attacking and blocking prohibitive, trample is just such a good keyword to have. And Farney doesn't do a lot to fizzle at instant speed, so you're likely to be able to recast it for the whole game if you're trading off somehow.
It's funny because we've had Kyle have a pretty good set of turns, and looks as though Farney's at 17, so he's still sitting pretty here. But the fact that Kyle has so many green creatures actually plays a pretty big role in things, I'd say.
Yeah, especially against Oriod Champion. Although I still feel like if Farney draws Ranger of Eos, there's hope for him to get back in the game.
Yeah.
But on the mulligan to 5, he's just short on critical mass. What will not help him right now goes without saying, Nor in the Wary.
Not great. Not great. The draw. Not Nor in the Wary. I think it may have been another champ. Looks like a white card nonetheless. As Farney is at 8 now as he begins this turn. Genesis Chamber. Kyle going to take a look. We're going to do the same. It's a weird one for Mirrodin. Haven't seen this one in quite a bit. I think I'm pretty good in that limited format, though, if memory serves.
Yeah, it was good.
It's kind of weird. Whenever a creature comes into play on either side, by the way, if Genesis Chamber is untapped, because why would it be tapped, that creature's controller puts a 1/1 mirror artifact creature token into play.
Flashback to some weird designs in Alpha that have the clause if it's untapped on it, even though they don't tap themselves.
Yes. Winter Orb, I think, is one of those.
I think Howling Mine might have been one of those.
Yeah, tapping your own Howling Mine is a little techie play I found in the old Time Warp deck we used to play.
Yeah.
If you might deck yourself, you Giga Drowse it, slow it down. Giga Drowse it so your opponent doesn't get to.
How about you take a turn off?
Yeah. Real nice play. Here's a Rancor.
Going on the red creature here, so he has an opportunity to attack with that through the Oriok Champion. At least get in some points.
Might be time for a Goblin Guide here for Kyle.
Well, I don't know if the guide really gets him anywhere because the champion can block the Goblin Guide and there's a Genesis Chamber trigger that comes along with it. And a trigger from the Oriok Champion.
Well, I actually want to see the Goblin Guide get played here because I want to check to see if we have any mirror in the kit in case we have to let someone go.
The mirror, yes, that's a good check.
Yeah, but it appears that Farney has brought some mirror for Kyle.
Genesis Chamber is a commonly played card in Modern. Why do not we not have this token here? Come on.
Farney going to get an Arid Mesa off of the Goblin Guide trigger. Still unclear if we have any mirror in the box.
I think Kyle might have brought his own token.
That's nice.
Save someone's job. Good on you.
Good on Kyle. You said he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
I think Farney right now with just 2 lands in hand.
Well, if he wants to save damage, the best block is on Wild Nacatl. If he wants to keep the Oriok Champion in play and save as much damage as possible, the best block is on Goblin Guide. And that results in 4. If it's not lethal, it's extremely close. Yeah, I think he has to block the Nacatl to get out of this turn.
And that means the champ's gone.
Right.
And now I just don't know what the best draw is here for Farney.
Sky Hussar is pretty big.
Ugh.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
It's not Oriok. It's not Sky Hussar.
No, it's not. The best draw realistically is Wrath of God. And he actually did draw Sky Hussar.
Sweet, cast it.
Definitely cast it. Whatever Sky Hussar's creature type is, name that with Cavern. There's the Hussar token from the Genesis Chamber. Yes, yes. Your turn, Kyle.
A fitting end to this match.
Yes, it is. Unfortunately for Matthew Farney, He will extend the hand as Kyle Boggemes is going to win this match here. Green-red aggro will take care of Jeskai Soul Sisters. Feels like Kyle got away with one here, as this matchup is not very good for him.
And Farney on a mulligan to 5 there and never found one of his sources of card advantage, Sky Hussar or Ranger of Eos. And Kyle's Ranker there on the Curd Ape was really valuable.
Yeah.
If the Curd Ape is shut off by the Oriot champion, Farney's got a lot of draws to find either additional Oriot champions, Ranger of Eos, things to really gum up the works. But the Ranker dealt so much damage that game, and then Kyle's green creatures were able to finish it off before Farney got much of anything going.
A fun match to cover, but on a more serious note, Kyle Boggemes moves on to 11-3, so he is very much in top 8 contention, and this would be